Neil Desai, and I'm the owner of CATE app. I'm seeking $50,000 for a 5% equity stake in my company. Now, whether or not we like it, we all know someone who's been cheated on, been accused of cheating, or who's actually cheated. Let me show you a situation that happens to millions of people every day.
Who is that?
Nobody.
What is this? Ginny? Ginny from your work?
Yeah, it's me.
What is this? Are you cheating on me?
No! I'm not.
You liar! Have you been there, Kevin?
Whoa!
It sounded like a full commitment to that slap there.
Tell me more. Well, CATE helps prevent fights like this simply by keeping your indiscretions discreet. Quite simply, CATE is a smartphone application, and with it, you select a blacklist of contacts. And if those contacts call or text you, CATE will intercept those calls and texts and store it within its interface. So even if your significant other is looking directly at your phone when blacklist contact calls or texts you, she'll have no idea it happened. Let's just say, if Tiger had CATE, he might still be married to Elin. It's been estimated that 80% of marriages have at least one cheating partner.
Shut up.
For real. We like to say, love is blind, we keep it that way.
So, Neil, this is a cheater's app.
But in reality, it's a privacy app.
But let's call a spade a spade. It's a cheater's app.
I'm okay with that. It's a cheater's app.
Okay. So this was requested by one of you in the super community. I think that Neil is doing a great job of justifying the app to himself and to the other people that he probably has involved in working on it. Because like the whole love is blind, we keep it that way. Like, I could see the appeal of putting this up on Shark Tank and getting people to want to have those conversations and things of that nature. But ultimately, yeah, I don't. There's a lot of other ways of going about this, but I think the key to this, and there might be other apps now. I mean, this was from season 4, episode 2 of Shark Tank, so this is quite a ways ago. I also thought it was funny that they showed Kevin, Damon, and Mark for like a while, like a downrange shot of them, which was kind of interesting to while talking about a cheaters app. But I'm sure other apps like this exist at this point. I mean, isn't that one of the appeals of originally, like, I guess, like Snapchat originally, because the messages wouldn't stay, it would be erased or whatever. And now even in Facebook Messenger and stuff, you can talk with an invisible ink or whatever it's called. So there's things out there that have done it. I think what makes this interesting is that it tries to be discreet in a way that it doesn't let the other person know that your text messages are being screened, right? Or your phone calls are being screened. Cause like that, that person you might not tell that person that you're with someone else. Or if you are, maybe you're not even necessarily in a committed relationship, but you want to keep those messages discreet because you just are playing the field or whatever. There's other reasons to do it. But I think it's funny that Robert, pushed for him to admit that it's a cheaters app. I mean, obviously it's a cheaters app because like they shot that video full send on the slap and everything. But anyway, we're gonna check out what's going on with CATE app today, which if there's a website or whatever, and then we'll also be featuring one of your comments from down below in the super community at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that.
Here, Neil, go with it, baby. Own it.
Neil,
For example, yes.
why did you develop this? You don't seem like the cheater type of guy.
You are correct. But I didn't actually develop the app. What I've done, pretty much since I was 14, I was a hustler. I sold Pokemon cards on eBay. I went to college, did the 4-year degree thing, but I couldn't get a job that I really wanted. Went back to Pokemon cards. I found the app.
But you're not a developer, right? You didn't develop this.
No, I found a guy selling this app. Turns out to be a cop. He doesn't have time for this app.
So a cop developed the Cheaters app.
Correct.
How much did you pay the cop?
$17,500.
You paid him $17,500. Wow.
So you have 100% ownership in this.
Between me and my sister, yes, we're a team.
Is your
So
app totally developed already? It's finished?
It's developed. We just finished the iPhone version of it a week or two ago. So we have Android, iPhone, and BlackBerry, which covers 85% of the cell phone market.
Neil,
And
How much?
I'm really curious as to how that works, especially with the lockdownedness of, well, BlackBerry, which, good God, there's a name, but iOS as well. Android, I totally get, right? Like it's much more malleable to what what the app developer wants, which is why they end up having lots of scam and spyware and malware apps out there in their store. Not that Apple doesn't necessarily, things get through, but not to the level that we've seen with Android. So, I'm also curious as to what they were selling. Was it a subscription base or if it's a one-time app, purchase. But again, I think that I think the name is kind of clever, right? Kate, and it's call and text eraser, which isn't really, it's not an eraser so much as it's a filter. So it's cat or something to that effect.
So you invested in it all total
we're
to date?
roughly around 45,000 currently.
I don't know if cheating is good or bad, because I've never done it. But I do understand there are people that have, and they need a product like this.
Yes.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about your sales?
Well, there is another group that needs it. Informants might need it. Undercover cops might need it. So there's definitely more than just people who are looking to cheat that could use this app.
Far, we have around 10,000 customers and
You have 10,000 paid customers?
5,500 roughly paid customers and about 4,000 free customers. Now,
How much did the 5,500 who paid for it, the actual cheaters, what did they pay?
the app sells for $4.99 for Android and iPhone and $9.99 for BlackBerry.
All right, so
Wow.
in 3 months, you've sold how much?
It's about 5,000 to 5,500 and 4,000 that is
And
profit.
today you think that app, based on that, is worth $1
$1 million.
Yes.
I think you're cheating.
Neil, why you
Yeah, I mean, look, it's no small feat to be able to get 4,000 paid customers in general. Anybody who's done anything, in the entrepreneur space could tell you that it's not a small feat. I think what's interesting is what does the free versus the paid, and I feel like you need to turn it up. I mean, it's $5 lifetime access to have your calls and text messages filtered, not necessarily erased. And I feel like that should be, because the other thing is the app. So back then, I don't know when this episode came out, but 2014 maybe, there was pretty 95% sure, at least on iOS, no way that you were able to hide your app. If the app's installed, there's an app for it, right? So unless it has a front, almost like a speakeasy or something like that, you click on the app, oh, what is this app? And then it basically does nothing until you do some kind of swiping motion or something specific to unlock the app. I feel like it's still it's almost a telltale, maybe on Android you could hide it back then. BlackBerry, yeah, I don't think you could hide apps. Maybe hide apps back then. But I, again, if you were looking at your customer, your customer base, and you're saying, okay, well, we only have about half of the people purchasing the app versus downloading the free version of the app. Maybe we need to dial it back so that he takes that to the next level? Or is it just a free trial? Like, oh, you get 3 days of free, access. Maybe it needs to be a little bit longer so people get used to the idea that they can have their calls and text messages filtered, because habits take like 2 weeks to develop. So maybe you need like 2 or 3 weeks of free service before it turns into a service. Or maybe the app makes people feel guilty about what they're doing, because it's like at that point you're like, oh, I'm downloading this app to keep my maybe I'm not doing something I should be doing. Just a thought. So I mean, it could have that effect as well. I'm kind of curious as to if you have was it 10,000 downloads or is it 10,000 active users there? That's the difference, I think. If it's just 10,000 downloads, like that's great. But maybe you're either not giving enough away free in the free trial aspect, or you're not getting people into the habit of using it.
Offering us such little percentage. Do you really want a deal?
I do, and to be perfectly honest, I know the equity is negotiable, so I figure I should come here with that and leave it up to you guys.
But Neil, do you have...
That's a good point, right? And we see that a lot of times. He's coming in for 50,000. He doesn't want to start out too high. Looking for undercutting himself. But it was 50,000 is not a ton of money. So I feel like Neil's doing the right thing. He's coming in and he's putting it up there. Like, yeah, I know it's $1 million valuation, but we're going to negotiate it.
Any issues or concerns about the morality of the product you're promoting?
Let's put it this way.
What are you talking about?
Let the guy answer a question.
I'm answering
okay.
for you.
I'm
The
okay
answer
with
is
you guys
no.
fighting.
It's no.
I mean, he ended up divorced, I think, not long after this with the whole Dancing with the Stars thing. So, Robert, what's up, bud?
Just put it in a better way. Let's say you didn't like carrots, for example.
Carrots.
But carrots sold at 100% markup. Are you going to say, I don't want to be a carrot farmer, or are you going to jump into that business ready to make money?
Wait, one second.
In other words, you're going to go where the money is what you're saying.
Exactly.
This is not morality tank.
The only immoral aspect of your deal is a crazy valuation. It's not worth $1 million.
That's for you guys to decide. That's what I
Well,
believe
I
it's
think
worth.
we're telling you right now. Look, I'm not going to sit around and listen anymore. I understand the business. I'll give you the $50,000 for 50%.
Whoa.
I'd like to hear the other offers.
I bet you would.
Are there any other apps that you could use this programming code base for?
Let me give you one right now. In the mutual fund industry, competitors don't like their sales data to be shown on a phone. I'm going to use this in my business on all the sales reports.
That's exactly
So I think there are apps that'll make sense there, and this is one of them.
And it's really there, if nothing else, to prevent fights.
To prevent what?
Fights. Like a lot of girlfriends that I've known have had boyfriends who are overly jealous, and they have guy friends, and the boyfriend doesn't want to see the guy friend text message her, so you get to keep your friends and keep your boyfriend happy, and
You might
everyone's
keep them alive.
happy.
See, you're saving people's
saving
lives.
That's what I think
get
I'm
it
doing.
now.
Yeah, I'm like a firefighter.
I don't know about that, but I do. Well, because it's actually a preventative measure. Firefighters are like general. I mean, other than doing inspections on buildings and stuff, they are putting out the fires, right? So you're preventing a fire from ever actually occurring. I think there's a lot of uses for it. I think that if I had to guess, the producers were probably like, yeah, like this is a cheaters app, and like let's roll with that, like play into that, because that's what's going to get views, not protecting sales data, of mutual funds or undercover cops, or anything like that. Like that's not going to get it going. What's going to get it going is them, the Sharks having a good time talking about cheating, which is not great, but it's TV.
I like your passion. I like the fact that you're a hustler. I don't like the app, so I'm out.
There's a website out there that promotes cheating.
I know it.
The guy who runs it and owns it is a very close personal friend of mine.
Of course he.
We summer together. But I'm going right to him after we form our partnership.
Now it's hard for me to believe that you don't cheat.
I don't cheat.
I'm kidding.
I don't cheat. I believe in what you believe in, okay? I know the only thing that matters in life is what?
Money.
Yes.
Of course.
You and me. We are in.
Okay, so let me no. The only thing that matters, no. There's three. We get three resources, right? Time, money, and energy. And time is the thing that matters the most, above money, even above energy, because you can kind of meander your way through creating more energy, a drink or whatever, energy drink, something like that effect. But time is what is most critical. Don't listen to Mr. Wonderful. That's how FTX happened. money. And yeah, money is very important. It is one of the top three things. Time and then energy, I think, are two more valuable and important things than money.
Sync. I'm going to give you $50,000 right now for 50%. Let's go.
I have to hear the rest of the offer.
Well, do we have any other offers?
Neil, I make it very simple. I have a different philosophy. I don't think it's all about money. I
You're
don't want
wrong.
to be. I don't want to be involved in any business where I can't bring my kids to work. I'm out.
That's not, again, there's so many reasons to filter text messages and phone calls than just cheating. I wonder if the reason is because of the name being Kate and, not Kate, but CATE. It just feels kind of not great. And I get where Robert's coming from. He doesn't want to probably publicly be involved with that, even though, it wasn't probably long after this was filmed that, he ended up being on Dancing with the Stars and whatever. But yeah.
Damon, what are you doing?
I have to be very honest. This is
But before we go Mr. Honesty over here, it's interesting that the security guy is the one that's like, yeah, I don't think we should be helping people be discreet about their communications on their phones.
not my field. So what I would like to do, if he would allow me, and I would be partners with Kevin to make this a stronger deal, if he allows me in.
All right. I'm interested, and I'm going to agree.
So Kevin and Damon are in at $50,000 for 50%.
You have a hard offer on the table. What are you going to do?
I happen to love this concept. I happen to think it has enormous application. All right. My husband was a FBI agent and used to have snitches in white-collar crime that would call him. And the biggest problem was they didn't want their name on his cell phone.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
If it wasn't narrowed as a cheaters app and it was a privacy app, I think it has a tremendous amount of application. So I'd like to make you an offer.
First, you gotta go to the commercial break.
Action.
For 30% of your business, offer for $50,000 for 30% of your business,
All right.
provided you're open to repositioning it as a privacy app versus a cheaters app.
This is one of these situations where you have to decide. You can work with a real estate agent who has no history in software at all, and I'm being nice when I say that.
Let me tell you what I was successful in. I was successful in taking a $1,000 loan and building it into a $5 billion business. So don't pull that card on me, Kevin.
Well, I know that I don't know as much as Barbara. That's why I would have to come in with Kevin, because together, collectively, we can offer you that muscle you need.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about an app here, right? The app's already been developed, but you still got to pay for updates and stuff like that. I mean, app development can be 50 to 125, 150 plus, right? So it's something that them coming in at $50,000 for 50%, only giving up 25,000 each, is really something that enables them to get access to an app that, I mean, probably cost. I mean, I when it was sold to him for $17,500, I mean, it probably, maybe it was that early in the process of days of app development, but I don't recall. Again, I'm not 100% sure when this, even if it was like 2012, the App Store opened in like 2009, I think. So apps were still probably pretty pricey, even though they weren't as complicated as they could have been, or as they became later on down the road. So I mean, it's still a pretty good bargain for any of the sharks to be able to drop 50,000 and walk right into an app.
Them.
I'll offer you guys 15%.
Whoa, hang on,
Whoa,
Neil.
Neil.
Yes.
Neil,
You take it, Neil.
you're countering to all three of them.
Yes,
15% for 50,000.
correct.
We're not in the same universe
Not
on
me.
this one.
No, thank you.
It's all negotiation. It's all up to negotiation.
Start up
I
back,
like-
Neil. You're not known anywhere yet.
You want to bet? If you want a cheaters app, if you want big market exposure, this is it.
All right, let's stop screwing around, okay, Neil?
So wait, 10, if that's the case, then why is there only 10,000 downloads? Like you just, we're saying there's something about 80% of marriages have somebody cheating in them, but only 10,000 downloads. Last time I checked, that's not 80% of 300 million people, 350 million people in America alone, just America.
You can do this whole thing on your own, all right?
Yeah,
Or you can partner with Damon and I.
yeah.
I'll drop this down to 35% for
Whoa,
50K.
whoa.
Two of us are still in the deal,
All
but
right.
it ain't gonna get any cheaper.
You know what? That's going to be my last on this one because he's going to start talking his way out of this.
Yeah. Look,
So,
I think the two of us bring so much value to you that we have to get paid for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Neil, this is your deal to lose.
Better deal. It's only for 30% for the $50,000.
You're telling me for
What are
5
you gonna
points you're not coming with me? Are you out of your mind?
Do you want to call him and look at that guy every day?
Neil, who do you see more value in?
I'm sorry, Barbara. I really do see value in him.
You know what I'll do? I'll drop it down to 25%.
eh,
I'm not
There's a-
budging.
There's a
He's not
tremendous
budging. I think Kevin-
difference in value here.
Kevin and Barbara, or Kevin and Damon are probably the better way, better path forward because of the path that Neil's already chosen to take. But again, I still feel like that's not, 10,000 is users total is still just not enough at this point.
If you guys would do 75,000 for 35%, we have a deal right now.
You're just looking at these guys. You're not entertaining this deal.
I have to see if they'll take that because that would equalize the equity.
But if they,
We'll do 60.
Done
We'll
at
do
60.
it right now.
Done right now.
60,000.
Stop it at 70 and we got a deal.
We got
Done.
a deal.
All right. Oh man.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Barbara. Thanks, guys.
Congrats, Neil.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah, you guys can make some money with it.
I love the kid.
Yeah, he's a great kid.
I was shocked that Kevin had the perfect connection, and bringing Damon on board just helped seal the deal.
Yeah, well, let's see what we're at. So according to the GazetteReview.com, as it is, the deal with Kevin and Damon that was never finalized. Their appearance on the show, however, did give them some exposure, which helped boost their popularity. Shortly after the episode aired, more than 10,000 people downloaded the app, most of whom were women. Not only that, but I'm not 100. This isn't super verified or anything that I know of, but not only that, but Neil was able to persuade law enforcement and government markets to use the CATE app. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. Within a few months, the app was pulled from the Google Play Store. They never ended up releasing an iOS version of the app either. They'd previously said it was in the works. So the way I heard it was that the iOS existed, so did Android and BlackBerry. And what did I say? That I wasn't quite sure how in iOS world they would be able to do that because of how locked down that system is. And Google Play Store probably removed it because the power that they were having of being able to basically intercept phone calls and text messages is one that's pretty powerful. Some system level functionality that you wouldn't necessarily want to give up to just any app, right? You gotta make sure who's getting that, who's intercepting phone calls, who's intercepting text messages. It's bad enough that people, the companies like Facebook out there are doing it, let alone just companies that happen to make it on the Shark Tank. And then that those apps are secure and not, being hacked themselves. and sending that data elsewhere, other than just maybe to the app developer plus or to the app developer and the phone itself. While it was never announced, they had shut down. We're guessing they might have run into some financial issues, which is likely, seeing as how the Shark Tank deal never went through, and the reason why they were on the show in the first place was to look for an investment. The other thing is that might explain why 10,000 users. I'm willing to bet most of them were probably Android users. I mean, this doesn't even mention BlackBerry here, and Android, as we know, as some of you may know, developers for Android platforms historically have made a lot less money making apps for Android versus iOS, which is a lot of times why iOS apps are the first to be developed, because the user base is seen as more committed. I'm not trying to offend any of my Android loving super community members out there, but the buying demographic is not the same, or at least in the past it wasn't. Maybe it's changed now, but the last I've really have gotten looked at it, it's they just, people download free apps on Android, are willing to pay on Apple. It's a more expensive phone, blah 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 blah. As of 2023, the company is still offline. Their website has been down for several years, and their social media accounts have been abandoned. Take their Twitter account, for example, has been updated since 2013, the same year. So it was appeared in 2013, not 2014 or 2012. But they might have filmed in 2012. So yeah. So their Instagram and Facebook pages have also been deleted. However, the idea of cheat apps live on nowadays. There are many, such as Cheat Master and M Tracker, all of which feature similar functions of the now defunct CATE app. For instance, you can use them to hide voice messages or text messages on your smartphone. What is Neil up to these days? We're not sure. We've looked around, but we're not able to find any information about the entrepreneur. He's not active on social media, nor does he have a LinkedIn page. If anything, he seems to have vanished into thin air, given everything that has happened. But our best guess is that he's gone back to his day job, seeing as how he's been a hustler all of his life. However, we wouldn't be surprised if he took on another business in the future. Either way, it's probably fair to say we won't be seeing him on Shark Tank again anytime soon. So yeah, it's funny, the app, I didn't even notice the pictures is showing Android phones there. So very, very interesting piece of Shark Tank history there. So Neil, if you want to reach out and come come interview, talk about your Shark Tank experience, everything you've had going on since, feel free to reach out to me down below in the comments, like this comment from Jean Pierre, who says, I think you have spent more time on their website than anyone else. You are very good at your job. The way you can see options of getting of bettering a business while others would otherwise not even try is amazing. Thank you so much, Jean Pierre. I appreciate the love and support, and you being a part of the super community. And it's just awesome getting to bring so many people from everywhere all together to care about looking at things like the website, or in this case, at least looking up a couple of articles and pulling the best one and citing it there. Again, take it with a grain of salt, because this isn't me doing the research, but this is an invite to, in this case, Neil, to come on the show and have a chat and see what's been going on. So anyway, I appreciate you, Jean Pierre. I hope I'll see you in the next video over here. Take care, and now go be super.